Good morning, everyone. Star Baby Homestead here. It is a lovely and cool morning, and I don't think it's supposed to get up to what? Maybe it should get up to about 65 today, or lower. Who knows? The weather keeps changing. It's supposed to rain, but right now there's a few clouds in the sky, but I figured today would be a good day to take you along with me as I start getting my garden ready for spring. So if you saw my previous videos on what I'm planting, I've already drawn out a diagram about where everything is supposed to go. Hopefully you've done that already. It makes planning a whole lot easier, so all you have to do is have your space ready and drop the plants in the ground. I'll show you my sketch later. But right now, I'm just going to be showing you what I do to prepare for spring. And I mean, our garden isn't the largest. It could be. I've expanded it a lot since we first moved into this home. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Now what you see here is my asparagus bed. As you can see from these stubs over here, they've already been chopped down. I plan on taking these stones and building a border around them because we're on a hill here. Garden's on a hill. So when water runs down, sometimes I'm losing through erosion some of the soil down here. It's leveled off a bit, but I need to protect and shield my asparagus just from runoff and to kind of keep the weeds at bay. What I'm going to be doing is laying down some pine needles, which we have plenty because of this giant trees, these pine trees that we have around us. I'm going to put that on the other side of the bed so that to smother the weeds, and I'm going to be laying black plastic along the border. As you can see, our black plastic from last season has worn out, so that's going to have to be replaced. But in the meantime, let me start setting up this border. I may have to do some weeding. I see some weeds in here, but as we go, I'm gonna just go ahead and get this bed ready, and then I'm gonna throw some compost on top of these so that they are ready to start producing. So as you can see, we only got half the amount of stones that we needed. We thought it was about 10 feet, but it's probably like 15 or 20. So we're gonna have to go back and get some more stones, but this is the idea, to kind of form a barrier to keep the soil from washing away, and to protect the asparagus a bit more. Some of them are more exposed than others, but they go all the way up to where that white pot is over here. So still got time. They shouldn't be sprouting, but you know what? If the weather gets warm, you know what's going to happen. They'll start sprouting. A frost may kill them. I may have to cover them, but I don't think so. I don't think it'll come to that. Asparagus does what it needs to, and most plants do. And if we get a light frost, it may not even affect anything. So I'm sort of anticipating we may have an early spring, which is why I started all of my seedlings early. My cold weather crop, because they don't like, they'll bolt or just die or won't produce. So I am going to go get some pine straw, and then I'm going to lay some compost down on this asparagus bed, at least half of it, just to get it started, and I'll finish the rest later. Now remember what I just said about asparagus is going to do what it's going to do? Well, mulching, I noticed this. That's going to get covered because it's obviously not ready. But yeah, it's already begun. So get your beds done if you live in this warm weather, 7 and below, because yeah, I think spring is definitely coming early. All right, asparagus bed has been mulched and halfway outlined, bordered, and covered with a nice layer of compost. So I'll get some more stones and finish that. But in the meantime, now I've started gathering up this black plastic, and I've got some fresh plastic to lay out to smother these weeds. The plan is to eventually maybe put rocks out, but we're also thinking about just doing black matting, not the plastic, but that sort of landscape matting that weeds cannot get through. The fabric kind, it deteriorates and you just get weeds in it. So all right, I'm gonna start laying down this plastic, and then I'll be cleaning up some of the mess that I've made. So before I start laying plastic down, I decided to go ahead and tackle this area here in the bed. As you can see, I've got some open spots here. I think I said tomatoes were gonna go along here. And over here, I'm gonna plant some butternut squash and get it trailing along this fence. And I think this is a good place to grow tomatoes too. So I won't need too much trellising. I'll just let them grow up and over the side of the fence and then just prune them if I need to. So because, if you can see, all of this dead Bermuda grass was, or crabgrass or whatever it's called, it's just aggressive and horrible. And it's been smothered underneath that plastic, but it hasn't really deteriorated like I've wanted it to. So I'm just going to lay some plastic down over this to cover it. And then in this side bed, I'm going to put compost over here. And then I'm just going to no-dig it. I'm going to plant my squash directly into the compost. And as the cardboard breaks down, the roots will go into the soil. So that's kind of part of my upkeep, because I'm going to be getting this whole area ready. I'm going to probably be planting some hydrangeas along here. There's going to be some, I think, clematis, and I want some, not hyacinth, what are those things called? Jasmine. Something that smells really good and that brings in a lot of pollinators. But I'm going to be laying compost all along here. So what I'm using is this 10 foot by 25 3 mil plastic sheeting. We've used the 4 and heavier in the front yard because we're going to be putting stones in those beds. But for now, this will be good to start getting those weeds smothered out during the warm weather. So this covers a large amount. You can cut them if you need to, but I just use it to cover all of the walking spaces. It's a little bit harder to put this down in the middle of the beds. Maybe I'll do pine straw this year until we figure something out. All right, there we go. Got some plastic laid down, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to put some over here. I think I'm going to. I was going to put some more cardboard down, but plastic may be easier to walk on. I keep slipping when I step on this cardboard. So I've got one more roll left, and I'm going to lay that down. And then I think I'm going to tackle that compost pile over there. So what you see here is some coco coir that I have soaked overnight. And I just ordered a whole bunch of bricks, and I'm going to be adding these to my beds. In addition to that black cow. You guys know that I'm a faithful black cow user. I use that in addition to my homemade compost, which I'm going to have to flip the bin. Okay, it's not a bin, y'all. It's a pile. Husband took offense to how the bins were looking over there. You see that they're gone. And so now there's just an old-fashioned pile of stuff. So I'm going to be turning that today, and it's probably, I could put it in the garden with some chunks in it. It'll still break down and it'll still give the plants nutrients, but I don't want a lot of rotting material in the beds because we have, you know, vermin out here, and we have rabbits and deer. So luckily Mina, she seems to be the resident rodent catcher. She has been a good deterrent against them. Cassie, not so much. Cassie will go after rabbits, but she doesn't really hurt them or anything. But Mina, she's a terminator. If she catches them, it's a no-go. So we've released our fair share of baby rabbits running around and that sort of thing, but I'd have to get to them before Mina did because it would not be pretty. But so gonna be turning that compost over there, but until that is ready, I'm gonna be using some black cow. I'm gonna be using this coco coir, and as you can see, I've already spread some vermiculite into the bed. And these are raised beds, so I can do that. I don't want it floating around all over the garden. But yeah, so we've got red clay, so I like to keep it aerated and broken down. It breaks down pretty easily. As you can see, I already have some coco coir out here. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is amending some of these beds and getting them ready. And yeah, so let's get started. All right, so this is what it looks like when you have the coco coir, the compost and some perlite mixed in there. So yeah, the soil is kind of fluffy. I like that, and loose, because once it starts raining, it compacts. You guys know how it is. So yeah, I wanted to really amend this so that the soil isn't waterlogged or any of the numerous problems that you can get when you have red clay dirt. Now, this bed here, it's kind of dry. The soil does not look rich at all, even though it's mostly organic material. So I'm probably going to put some compost in here. And as you can see, I'm working on this bed here. This is where I have onions growing. And I think I'm going to put some bok choy and some beets in here. I have to look at my plan because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. But I pulled the red onions that have been in there, you guys, since, I don't know, I maybe planted them last spring or last fall. And they didn't bulb at all. And come to find out, I think they're an intermediate onion style type of onion. And yeah, so what I have is pretty much red onions, green or spring red onions, which I'm good for because I love red onions. This year I'm planting an F1 grano that is red. And I have a Texas early grano, which is also an F1. So red onions don't seem to ever really keep well. They go straight into the refrigerator, but they last a long time in there. But they're delicious and we love them, so I want to keep growing them. But I'm not going to make the mistake of buying seeds that just aren't going to work. In Georgia, we have to use just a lot of sweet onions. And honestly, I mean, we don't have cellars and places to keep stuff cold. So really, the refrigerator is your best bet. So that and chopping things up and putting them in the freezer. We've had an unusually cold winter, but now it's starting to get hot already. Like we're already starting to move into the 70s. We're not out of the water yet because, I mean, we have to get through March, and March can also be volatile here in Georgia. So probably a few more nights. I mean, this is the amount of wood that we have left, and that is our second cord, and it was huge. So anyway, here's to hoping. I've got plenty of cloths. As you can see, I take them on, I put them on and take them off as weather permits. And the wind is cool out here today. The sun was out. As you can see, it's coming out every now and then. But it's a perfect time to do some chores because it's not blazing hot out here. So, all right, I'm going to get back to amending these beds. So this is my garlic bed, and I was going to put eggplant and peppers in here, but now I think I'm going to put my collards in here. Somewhere I missed putting that on my list. This also happens when you grow too many vegetables at one time. So you've got, I mean, there's plenty of space, obviously, but yeah, I'm going to plant my eggplant and peppers somewhere else. Somewhere they can get shade, because they kind of suffer out here when it's hot. Maybe I'll plant them up against the shed. But in the meantime, this bed, its soil is pretty great. I haven't had to do too much to it. It was the very first bed that I installed out here. And it was just, I filled it with black cow up to the brim. So I may lay some more on here, or I just may just fertilize it with some ash and some bone meal. But for now, I'm just going to weed in between these rows. All right, last but not least, I've got to get this compost turned. Yeah, I don't relish this. There's some gross stuff in there, and not to mention ants. So yeah, I may stop halfway if it feels like it's futile, but yeah, I'm gonna get this stuff turned over and to see if there's anything that we can use. Now there seems to be some good stuff in there. It's kind of chunky, but you know, you can use chunky on your bed just as long as it's not like super fresh. But the ants have arrived, so I'm going to shovel a bit more and then I'm going to leave it alone. So I've turned this compost a great deal, and you can see this material right here. This is actually usable. Let me show you. Let's get down here. So it's okay again if it's a little chunky. I might have to go through and there could be some fruit bits or something weird in here. There's some stems that didn't completely decompose. They're a bit woody, but this here is pretty decent. Got some eggshells and such in here, but yeah, I think I'll be able to put that on some of my beds. So it takes a while to get your own compost, but you know, so you have to invest probably the first couple of years depending on how big your garden is. But then once you get your compost going, yeah, you just recycle it back in and it goes back into the food that you grow. Nothing is wasted. So, all right, compost is done. I threw up cardboard so it wouldn't run over into my neighbors, into their property. So try to keep it contained a little bit. And asparagus bed is done for now. Everything's been mulched. I may still put some more plastic down, or I'll call it quits for today. And I've sprinkled some. Get out, Mina, look at this dog. Shoo. I've sprinkled some ash from our wood burning stove. That's a good thing about winter. You start spring with some great wood ash for the garden. And I've amended the soil, pulled weeds. I'm gonna have to get some compost into the rest of these beds, which I have. Pretty pleased about that. So I'm gonna throw those in and get these beds ready. It'll decompose some more by the time the seedlings are ready to go in. I'll be tackling the strawberry bed next. It's dormant, but I have to remove all the straw and then fertilize and put some more compost down, but I'll do another video on that. But so far, plastic is down. We still have some brassicas that are covered up in our lettuce. So that is it for now. Let me know what you're doing to get ready for spring and all the things that you have to do. It's go time. So as soon as it's warm, we're going to have a lot to do. I've got to prune my grape trellis because it can't stay like that. So that's going to be next, as well as pruning the peach trees. So stay tuned for some updates on that. But in the meantime, be well, be blessed. hit me up in the comments and let me know what you're up to, what you're planting, and how's your weather, if you're having a hard time or if you're out enjoying the sun like we are. Be well, be blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.